This video is going to be pretty rough, but I'm going to show you how to make a lithium-ion battery frame using only Tinkercad. It's going to have rounded corners, stopper rings, and all the other bells and whistles you'd expect a high-quality battery frame to have, using only Tinkercad to produce it. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we need is a cell. The number one thing you need to do, because Tinkercad is low quality by default, is to increase the number of sides. There we go. The height for our purposes doesn't exactly matter, but let's just go ahead and put it, what the cell is. We're working with 21700s today, and I've found through testing that 21.5 millimeters is perfect for these cells in my printer. And obviously we changed that, so we need to update that. There we go. Okay, now you might think the next step is to duplicate these into the cell grid to make the holes needed to cut out of the frame, but we have to add the stopper ring. The stopper ring is very important. It prevents the cells from going through the frame. We want to do the same thing to increase the quality. I've found that 1 millimeter all around is good, so we'll do this 21.5 minus 2, so 19.5. And I've found that a 1 millimeter height is good. We can align this to the top, but not normally, because that's a flush mount. We want this to be literally exactly on top. Now we know its thickness, so we just move it up by its thickness. Now it's perfectly on top of this structure, and when we bond it, it will be a perfect bond. So now we have what I call a cell punch, because you can take this shape and punch it out of any other shape, and it will make a proper valid cell hole. I'll show you just as an example real quick. Wrong button. There we go. See? We have a proper cell hole with a stopper ring and everything. Okay, so let's duplicate this. Here's a trick I've learned in Tinkercad. When you paste, it pastes it half to the right. Why do I say half to the right? Well, if you paste it again, it goes a whole to the right. You see what's happening here? See, if I'm looking from this perspective, copy, paste, we have a half to the right. It's exactly half of its width to the right, so that its center point is on the right edge. If you paste again, delete that one, now you've got one that's exactly to the right. It's the quickest, easiest way to do that. And we can move this by a standard amount. I personally think 0.8 is perfect. And we'll do that again. And again. Now we've got to go along this axis. It's just duplicating that procedure. We're going to do it a little more efficiently though. It's not an offset battery, it's just a linear battery, so we don't have to do the 60-degree offset thing. Okay, so now we've got 3. Now we could go down the whole way like that, but we don't have to. First of all, let's group these. I should have grouped them initially. There we go. Okay, so now what we can do is make one of them a solid. If you have a hole that's not intersecting with anything, it just goes away. See? So what we can do is we can copy and paste that, group it together. Now we've got these packed in there. And then align, we'll copy and paste, we'll have a few more of those. And then align with this. And there we go. We got another set. There we go, and we've got this set here. Almost clicked the wrong button again. Okay. Do we have enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, we do not have enough. Let's do that trick one more time. There we go. 10S, 4P. Now we can cut this cell grid of punches you know, out of anything and make a valid battery frame. I mean, technically we're done. I'm not even going to bother centering it for this example. Now let's merge them. There we go. That will work. We've got stopper rings. But let's do rounded edges. So we're going to have to do a couple more tricks. Let's go ahead and delete this. Oops, not all of it. There we go. Personally, I find a 2mm frame margin is good. I mean, we can disagree on this, and you can make it thinner or thicker, depending on your needs. Remember, we got to increase the quality. Okay, now what is this? This is 21.5. Okay, so we want 2mm all the way around, so we need to increase that by 4. So 25.5. And then we can line it up here. And then line this one up. Do the same for these corners as well. Okay, now we can put these together in a group. And we can move it over here for now so we can kind of work on it easier. So now we can make a box to connect those. This is 226/20 by 92. 226/20 by 92. We can group it. Now we obviously want to remove the extra spots. Now we could just randomly place a block, but we're probably going to clip an edge. So let's do it right. Let's ungroup this so we can get the size. Okay, 25.5 divided by 2, that's going to be 12.75. So let's make a box. It's that big, 12.75 by 12.75. And then we're going to align it like this and like this. There we go. So now we know for sure we're covering that and we're not going over the halfway point. And we can just copy paste that, align it internally just the same. There we go. And then copy and paste that. And then align this over here. And there we go. So now when we group those things, excluding these, there we go. We can make this the same height as the cells. 25.5. 25.5. There we go. And there we have it. Our solid chunk. We can see a seam here or there in Tinkercad. This will not show up in the geometry when you print it. So you know what's going to happen next. We simply align these. We might not want the frame to be that thick, so we have to adjust that now. 8mm is good. Just depends on the battery you're doing. If you try to adjust that later, you'll skew the stopper rings. This might take a minute. And there we have it. A perfect 10S 4P battery frame with rounded corners, stopper rings, and it is ready to print. Thanks for watching.